All right, welcome back, folks. Thanks for joining us. My name is Michael Yates. This is the Ridgeview Pod, where we try to cover everything hope, healing, and recovery related. Man, this is a long time in coming. I'm glad you guys are here. Marcus, Katy, with the First Episode Psychosis OnTrack Anderson Program. What is it? It's probably been a couple months that we've been trying to coordinate time to do this. So welcome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we just start with the basics? Introduce yourself and what role you have with the OTAP program.
I'm Katy Benson, and I'm the case manager for the program.
I'm Marcus Thompson. I am the therapist specific to the program.
All right. Fantastic. So OnTrack Anderson, otherwise known as OTAP. So we may use that reference for everything's got an acronym nowadays. So OnTrack, obviously this is specific to Anderson County. What is the program and what is First Episode Psychosis?
So it is specific to Anderson County in that it's the OnTrack Anderson program, but I will go ahead and preface by saying that we are willing to accept people coming from different areas, especially when our numbers are low and we're not having a wait list. So if any of this information comes up and somebody relates to it and they're not in Anderson County, I don't want them to feel excluded as well. But in general, our surface level explanation of us is we're just working with people that are dealing with having a psychosis related incident for the first time. And with the first time, I mean in the last 2 years. Usually psychosis is noted as being seeing or hearing things other people might not see or hear. Having odd type thinking, what we in the clinical realm will call delusions, whether it's paranoid type where you're thinking that people are following you, oftentimes it might be the police you think are following you, or grandiose type delusions where you think that you might be God, or you might be brothers with Jesus or something like that. Things that that would be hard for other people to really grasp because it seems so far-fetched.
So hallucinations and delusions are both types of psychosis.
Yes.
All right. Are there other types?
There are other types
Drug-induced?
yes, oftentimes when there are drug-induced psychosis symptoms, and we can address stuff like that as well. We will take the time to try to tease out what came first, the chicken or the egg. Did the drugs or the psychosis come first? But at no point is it immediately disqualifying thing because somebody uses substances.
Yeah. Why is first episode so important? Why is early intervention so critical?
So the OnTrack model has had a lot of evidence-based influence into it. We've done a lot of research. Well, they've done a lot of research because we're just 3 months old, really. And they found that people that are going through first episode psychosis have better results after being treated compared to not being treated. Sometimes people go through their first episode when they're 15 years old, and then they have their entire life ahead of them where they're dealing with these things they might not ever get treated. So whenever we have seen this, the data seeing the results of being met that first time, you learning the coping skills, you're getting the support you need that you might not, whether it's family support added. I mean, we have a big element where we want to add the family into the mix as much as possible. But the results have shown that if you catch somebody during their first episode of experiencing these things, or close to the time frame of their first episode, that their outlook, that their ability to have a fulfilling life is astronomically increased, whether it's getting gainful employment, going back to school, every aspect of their life has been shown.
Just getting the right treatment.
Yeah, it's making everything work for them.
I mean, I have to imagine it has got to be very scary, the first episode or two that you may have, especially if you're a young person, a young adult, and there's so much stigma out there associated with asking for help, especially if you don't know what you're experiencing. And that seems to be, as I understand it, part of the OnTrack model is really wrapping people who are having that experience with the supports, not just the formal supports of treatment, but those informal supports of peer supports and family and friend support so that they understand what the individual's experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So what's okay, who's eligible for this?
So our population we're serving are people between the ages of 15 to 30. Their psychiatric diagnosis no older than 2 years, like their first psychiatric diagnosis. So schizophrenia, schizoaffective, there's unspecifieds of other things with psychosis related symptoms as well. But when we look at it, we're looking at no older than 2 years or just undiagnosed. Like if they're undiagnosed with something, that immediately like they check that box because it's not more than 2 years old. Like I said before, Anderson County is the service area. So you have to be able to come to Anderson County, the main center, to get our services, regardless of if you live in Roane County, Morgan County, Hamilton County, wherever you come from. So it is an Anderson County specific program, but we can accept other people depending on, person by person.
Okay.
Did I miss anything?
No, you covered it.
So, Katie, tell me, let's say I am enrolled in the program.
Okay.
What can I expect? What are a couple of the services? Am I in individual therapy? Am I referred to med management? Do I see a peer support? Tell me about what I can expect.
There's not a concrete structure because it's going to vary depending on each individual, how much they want to be involved in what aspect of the program. They're eligible and offered all of it, but they may want to be very engulfed in therapy and case management and don't want to work on employment and education. They may want to be with peer support and not case management. I mean, it just depends on each individual what their needs are.
So very customized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We're trying to work with them and what's best for them. So they're making the decisions and we're just trying to help support them through.
Now, Marcus mentioned the importance around familial support and educating the family or the other folks that are around that person's life. What's involved in that? Is there an actual curriculum for those folks?
Well, we're going to have therapy, family therapy for our clients and their families, both with the client and without the client, because we know that their families are going through just as much as the client is, but in different ways, and they need help too. So we're trying to get everybody involved, look at all aspects of life, and help get them back on track.
Yeah.
The best we can.
Yeah. It's a team. It's a constellation of team supports. Okay, that makes sense, and that seems really wise. So let's say I'm watching this and I myself, or I know I have a family member that I think may qualify for this. What would be the steps to make that referral?
It's as easy as it can ever be. If you feel like you know somebody or have somebody or you are somebody that you think qualifies or might possibly qualify, you can either come to Ridgeview and walk straight up to the front desk and say, hey, I want to talk to somebody in the OTAP program. They're going to get a hold of me. If you're already getting services from somewhere, you can ask them, hey, can you send Marcus Thompson an email with Ridgeview OTAP? And, my email is listed on our pamphlets, on our flyers. Katie's doing a lot of outreach, so a lot of people will already have some of our information. And then they can just shoot me an email with your name and just like a brief statement of like what's going on. And I'm just going to call and get you into my office so that we can talk about whatever you got going on. And then I'm going to be the one that's kind of like screening.
And we'll put your contact information in the description of the publication of this.
Right. So, I mean, it's extremely simple in that you can either call Ridgeview, ask to speak with somebody at OTAP, walk into a Ridgeview, ask to speak with somebody with OTAP, or ask a provider if they can do a referral to somebody with OTAP. Okay. And all three of those methods, you're going to get a hold of either me or somebody within the program. But ultimately, it's all going to come down to you're going to at least get a phone call from me to see if you are still interested, and then see if we can schedule time for the person to come in and do a formal evaluation.
Great. So you had mentioned these other, possible life interests like school, job placement. Are these aspects also things that can be networked or resourced for someone? I mean, it's not just a standalone. As you're describing, it sounds like it's a multifaceted way of helping someone obtain the goals that they have for their life.
Our whole outlook on like how we want to treat the people that come into this program, into our care, is one, we want to meet people where they're at. Everybody's going to have their different background. Everybody's going to have different barriers, and we want to be able to be there to support that person to get through that stuff on their own individual level. There's not like a blanket way that we're going to treat each person that comes in here. We do our thing in like a very holistic way. We want to give that person individual therapy, give that person opportunity for a family therapy. We even have a multi-family group where you're coming together with peers that are in the program and their families, and then you're talking about stuff in that arena as well. We have a peer support specialist who can meet our clients on like that deeper personal level because they've gone through the stuff themselves. They can connect with somebody at a different level than I can in therapy, no matter how long I do it. I've never lived through the experiences that the people that our clients have gone through sometimes, as well as case management. Anything that like case management, I love case management because case management's like, I was just telling somebody, we're like, that's a jack of all trades. If you have a question, hey, do you think we can do this? You just bring it up to Katy, and she's going to go beat the pavement up trying to figure out how to get that person services.
Yeah.
And if we're not the right fit, Ridgeview has a lot of programs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other resources around this area.
Yeah.
We're going to find something for you.
It fits in nicely with our philosophy of no wrong door.
Right.
So come to us, and if we're not the right place or the right program, we'll get you connected to where you need to be. So I think we've discussed in a future episode, we will have the peer support role here. So I'll look forward to having her. Yep. All right. So, I mean, we're recording this in May. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. The back of the shirt says "End the Stigma." Part of what we're doing, talking about this, certainly with this program, is helping end the stigma around psychosis. So I'm always curious how people take care of themselves as part of promoting optimization of their own mental health. So I ask each of you, how do you take care of yourself?
In many different ways. I have a daughter who's extremely active, and I just love being with her. So anything, I mean, she drags me to do all kinds of stuff. We'll be bowling one weekend. This evening we're going swimming. I mean, it just depends.
She's the cruise director.
Yeah, it really is. And I get into all kinds of stuff with her, and we kind of detach from my job and just focus on being a mom and being at home, and that part of my life that's my self-care.
Good. Yeah. Good for you. Marcus?
Similar. So I like to, go to the gym and work out every once in a while. And then I like to go home because I have a 1-year-old, and my favorite thing to do is to figure out a way to just get him to like cackle, laugh. And I'm convinced that like my mansion in heaven is going to be like the surround sound of my son 1 year old laughing, because it's the best thing in the world to hear. So that's just, I that can like take an entire load off of me. It's just like playing with them to the point where he's just like chuckling, laughing, where he can't catch a breath.
Is it your ringtone on your phone?
It will be. It will be. I can't ever catch him good enough to like, if you pull out a camera to record him doing something silly, that's when he's just like looking at you like, you're like, what are you?
Yeah.
What?
The way you described that, I recently stumbled across my son is now, 23. I'm sorry, Max, if I've thereabouts. But I stumbled across recently a video of him where he was on his back on the floor, and I am blowing those, making that noise in his stomach, and he is laughing so hard he's struggling to catch a breath. And I'm laughing. He's laughing. Well, look, it's brought a smile to our faces just talking about it. Well, will you indulge me with just a little more fun?
We'll try our best.
All right. So one of the things I've been doing, because I think it's helpful for people to kind of get to know a little bit about the fine people here at Ridgeview, maybe out of sort of this academic, clinical mindset. So if you'll indulge me, I've got a couple of just questions. See what you think.
Katie.
Okay.
This is inspired by a podcast I follow, Greg Bennett, who closes with some of these kinds of questions. So, in no particular order. So first I'll ask you, Katie, best decade of music?
Oh, 70s, 80s.
And give me a sample of like what type of music, a group or a song.
Aerosmith.
Okay, all right.
It's my favorite.
Walk this way.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, very good. All right, Marcus, if a movie were to be made of your life, what genre would it be and who would play you?
I think it would be one of those movies that just like at the end of it you're just like, what did I just watch?
So,
Because it's taking all the turns. Who would play it? I don't know. Like,
so the movie you're talking about is something like Tenet, where it's like, what was that? What just
literally,
happened?
like you'll start out like real happy, and then you'll get real sad, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, they're in love," and then you're gonna be like, "What did he just do?" And then you're
Yes.
gonna be like, "He should be in jail."
Yeah.
All the things are gonna happen all throughout this movie. I don't know who would like. I just don't know who would be. I'm just gonna. I really hope Will Smith plays my role.
All right, there you go. All right, Will Smith, you're on notice. All right, Katie, if you could invite 3 people to dinner, not family, who would they be?
Oh my goodness. It's gonna kind of be all over the place. Like my brain's going like, I'm thinking Sigmund Freud. I'm thinking Eminem. I'm
Yes.
thinking like
You don't need anybody else.
I mean, honestly, that already is a great conversation. I don't know who my third would be though.
Someone to record it all.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler.
All right,
No,
there
I'm
you
gonna
go.
put him there.
All right, sounds, yes, like a very interesting conversation.
I don't think you'd be talking at all. I think it's just all like a viewing party for you. You're just gonna be sitting there listening to the
Yeah,
conversation.
absolutely would. Absolutely.
All right, Marcus, would you rather be multilingual and speak all languages or be able to speak to animals?
Oh, animals, no doubt.
Wow, you did not hesitate at all on that one.
Nah, animals. No, I always want to know what my cat's thinking.
Do you?
I made you a bed, but you're sleeping in the flower pot. Explain. Is this like an alpha move?
All right. The cat is saying, if only I were bigger.
Yeah, right.
All right, Katie, a dream vacation?
I've always wanted to go to Ireland,
Oh,
so that would be my dream vacation.
all right. My brother is headed, with his family's headed to Scotland in a couple of weeks, so not, nearby. Okay. Marcus, what is the thing you're most afraid of?
Spiders.
Wow, again, no hesitation.
No, I'll do everything else. I will not hold, touch, or be near a spider.
All right. Well, this is fun. It's a little way to kind of get to know one another a little bit better, and for our audience to get to know you guys outside this more academic, clinical mindset. So, see, it's not all that bad, is it? Will you come back?
Sure.
We'll do a 6-month update on how the program is going, or thereabouts, and we'll continue to get the word out because this is an incredible asset to the citizens of Anderson County and bordering counties that can come here for this program. You guys are great at what you do, and it's a real honor to be able to help get the word out. So thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us, Michael.
And thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so that you get notification of each episode as it is published. Take good care of yourself, and we'll see you next week.
There's vomit